Hey traders, this is Krishna Joshi here from 7 Points Capital. I'm here with a quick trader takeaway for today. It's Monday, December 11th, and let's quickly jump on to the SPICE recap. S&P 500, as you can see on the daily chart, at a stone's throw away distance from all-time highs of 266.80, trading just 30 pips lower than the all-time highs. Let's jump on to the intraday chart, where SPICE basically did nothing, just gapped down a little bit pre-market and then just quickly went up and then was just sideways in a very narrow range all day. As you can see, right from the open, which was around 265.65 to about 66.15, which is like 50 cents for SPICE, which is less than half a percent, about 0.4% for SPICE. So really narrow range, not too much volume. Let me go on to daily to show you the volume. Under just close to like 70 million shares on the day, but overall the activity was really muted. Not so much volume overall in the markets, and really stock specific action. A lot of biotech names were in action. They had a lot of phase 1, phase 2 data coming out. CELG had a lot of tie-ups with a couple of companies in which they're doing and publishing more research. And so let's quickly, I just want to talk about three trades pretty quickly. A good trade was VSTM early in the morning for me. So the stock really gapped up big on good news in the morning on news, and right around the open it just went to unchanged and started acting, started doing this, setting up one, two, three kind of setup for me, which is a go-to morning setup for me. And quickly you could see like it barely spent any time in the green in the morning, and the stock quickly went down from like 480 close to around the open, like around 9:15. It quickly went down to 430. I did not really get involved right away at the open. I remember being involved around the 420 area. So this is where I started looking at the move that we saw on the 5 minute, which was the 1, 2, 3 setup for me. So this is where I found like a good continuation setup, got involved on the short side close to the 420 mark, had some more position around the 405s, around the 4 area, and I remember covering on the pullback close to the 395s 4 area, because it was kind of setting up really well, tried to make a push down and quickly came right back up. So this was a good quick scalp in the morning, given how the last few days have been, especially the last week, which was really slow overall. The idea was to have stock specific action, looking at fewer names, doing fewer size, and doing taking those singles instead of looking for home runs. So this stock kind of gave me good 30-cent pop, which was a good 6-7% for a $4 stock. I wasn't risking too much initially. When I got in, I was risking a little, about 30. That was the trade, and a high risk reward setup for me. The probability of these kind of trades are good 65-70% plus for me on average. So this is a good go-to setup for me in the morning. What I could have done better was had I could have had more size or been more aggressive all the way through the 420s to the as it was making the new lows, instead of having only half the position and adding more through the 405s and right around here. I'm a pretty decent cover, I would say, because I wasn't really looking at big home runs. I was looking at it more like first setup. This was my clear defined risk reward, and then getting in again around here with the stop right above like 415ish. So which is why I wasn't risking too much and ended up being a pretty decent trade. Let's look at one bad trade during the day. So this was CELG, which had a lot of positive data coming out. They have been working in collaboration with a lot of smaller biotech companies, and the data was pretty promising for them. So the stock gapped up pretty big. The daily on CELG has been really terrible. As you can see, two big gap downs, and then the stock was just making a good move on Friday. Kind of broke out. I was seeing it was pretty active in the Twitter community on Friday. A lot of options guys looking at a 105 calls, I remember. And it gaps up pretty big. Look at that, right from that 106 area where it closed on Friday. in the morning it traded kind of five points higher, but again trying to get short uh, against 109. I was trying to short the 108.60s a couple of times, and I had my stop above 109, and it did not kind of work out for me, especially around here. This ended up being a bad trade because I was constantly on the short side, in fact, looking to add more as it was getting more sideways. I felt like I knew where my clear defined stop loss was, and the trade did not end up working out, but I had more size than I had expected, which is why this goes down as a bad trade for the day. CELG, it did end up going down on the day, but before that it made a big shakeout. Let me show you a 2-minute chart which can give you more idea. Right here, which was 108.60, I was trying to get short around here, and then as it went sideways, as it made a lower high on 2 occasions, I was trying to add more, in fact, on the way here, which is why once it moved up, I had to kind of take out off all of my position between 108.90, 109s. Uh, Anything I could have done different was probably definitely not have added in this area, unless I would have seen some promising move that it was going below the day lows, which was below 820, below 810 on big volume. It did make a move down, but you can see no follow through, no volume follow through either. So next time I want to keep in mind that this kind of trade, I want to look at a clear breakdown, which was something we saw in the previous trade in VSTM. We saw a clear breakdown, and then we saw a good add point much lower instead of adding in between the range. And the last trade I want to talk about is ONCE. The stock had poor set of data. I mean, with these kind of stocks, it's just a couple of few uh, phase clinical trials that are going on, and if you have a failure on one of those, especially a low biotech name which can really move a lot, like ONCE, like BLUE, every time you have a negative or a positive move, positive news coming out in the stock, you expect the moves to be pretty extreme on both cases. So in BLUE, the move was pretty extreme on the way up, a lot of upgrades coming for the stock, and for ONCE, on back of negative news, the stock was really down, beaten down, close to 50% in the open. We did see midday a lot of brokerage firms coming out and defending the stock, that it's overcorrect, that the sell-off is overdone. We did see a minute pullback, but my trade in this one was on the short side right at 9:31. This was my first trade of the day, and which was at 46.80, right around here, right as it opened. I got a good entry price. I got a few under chairs short, and I quickly bought into the wash around the 44s, which was definitely a little early, and which is why this goes down as a trade where I could have done better. Two things I could have done differently was the size, especially when I saw this move coming just into the open. We saw good lower highs, and this one the stock kept making new lows. So the next time I see this kind of setup, I want to have much more size than I had this time, and at the same time, I want to make sure that I hold for most of the move. What I do like about this trade was it was a quick trade, and I was really having a high conviction on this kind of setup because you could see the level 2, the stock is beaten down about 47%, gapping down, but with a weak momentum on the downside. So this was a good continuation trade for me, getting short around the 46.80s, right around here at the open, and just a quick cover in the wash. Maybe I would love to get involved on the way on the secondary moves. That is something I would love to be a part of, as it is breaking with volume, something around here. But in this one, it ended up being going much higher because the stock was again down close to 50%. A lot of brokerage firms defending the stock, and so these are three quick trades for me: VSTM, CELG, and ONCE. Thanks again for watching, guys. Thanks for your continuous support, and we'll keep bringing you these videos. So please subscribe, share with your friends and family, with the Twitter community, and let us know what kind of videos you guys would like to see. Thanks so much for watching, and it's Krishna here from 7 Points Capital.